Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi. So last time, Keiichi talked to Mion. Mion pretty much explained to him a lot, right? Things that shouldn't be said to anyone. She told Keiichi for some reason, right? Everything, and Keiichi was like, yeah, all of that makes sense, honestly. And then he was not believing Rena that much anymore, right? And then for Rena, she's being very paranoid, right? So the guys in the white van seems to be just gardeners, right? And Rena is doubting everyone, basically everyone now. Mion, Keiichi, Chie Sensei, all of them. So let's see what happens with Rena today. Her text became red as well, by the way. It was pink when we started, and now it's red. So I think it's an indicator that she's getting worse, I suppose. Like, look at this, red now. They were moving the grass near the fence, which was probably a cover to monitor the surroundings. Just in case I tried to escape from the school. But they must have been thinking that would only happen after school was over. They seemed to have no idea that I'd already noticed their plan and was trying to run away right at the very moment. I couldn't use the front gate since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the curry garden, ran through it and dashed into the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the forest for a while, I came to a small road. I know many back roads in this village because of our club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed on my message to Chie Sensei. Those men must be going crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. Everybody in class looked at each other and then shook their heads. Chie Sensei looked a bit upset that Rena left school early without telling her in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたものね。みー。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし、どうしちゃったんだろ
う。なんだか嫌な予感がするぜ。
え？
I think I know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken another ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. Okay, now we go back to Rena. I hurried home. My father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got home. Now that they're on the move, I'm no longer safe in my house. They're very dangerous people. They're trained to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction, and they actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Lock the doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in the box or in a box, which they could just open up to get at me. I could no longer stay at home. It's very sad and very frustrating. I killed Rena and Teppei and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me, see? Remember what Keiichi was saying back then? He did it. He killed Teppei. He killed Teppei for Sateko on the 3rd chapter. They had peace for a while, and then it was inevitable. Something worse happened, or something worse is happening. I remember what Keiichi-kun told me before. It expressed my feelings better than anything.
Takano-sanめ、とんでもない置き土産を。
Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secret of the unthinkable conspiracy? She got me into this. I didn't do anything. It's all Mio-san's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio-san about them? I did. I depended on Mio-san, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories I'd been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. If I hadn't, I would have gotten or wouldn't have gotten involved in that unthinkable conspiracy, and I could have just played around with my friends today. But even if I did, I didn't know about the conspiracy. I'd still continue behind the scenes. I would have been one member of the mob running in a panic and not knowing what's going on the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival. I would have been just swallowed up in their conspiracy anyway. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? Would I be happier if I struggled knowing about it but ending up swallowed by it? If I'm going to end up in the same way no matter what I choose, I'll fight. I'll choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Rena invaded my home, seducing my dad, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that was the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad at all. I had only two enemies, Rena and Teppei Hojo. I knew my enemies and I knew how many they were. I lured them out one by one and I attacked them in the dark. It was a very easy problem to solve. What about this one? I don't know who my enemies are and I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I can't possibly be sure now. Don't doubt, she's doubting even her friends, right? Friends who helped her, right? When they found her in the dump, trying to get rid of the bodies, and now she's doubting them. This might be the end of the world. This time, it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But is that really the case? With Rena, I felt like it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that bad. So this might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So I shouldn't think that this is the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can fight and struggle. I'd eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. Ugh. I'm going to bet on the 1% chance even though it's unbelievably small. If Mio-san didn't live or leave me the scrapbooks, I wouldn't even have been able to sit at the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. If I don't fight, they'll spread a terrible parasite and this village will face a great disaster. According to legend, when the demons first came out of the swamp, people became demons right after being infected. And it happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when infected people leave the village, but that only applies to the later weak parasite. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-sama even when the infected are in the village. The legend of Oyashiro-sama will be reborn. Humans and demons will start killing each other and Oyashiro-sama will come down to pacify the disaster. That's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-sama will be saved. I see. I now know their true intentions. They're going to reenact the legend of Oyashiro-sama. After all the villagers say that Rika-chan is his reincarnation, the stage is all set. They're going to use the parasite as the curse. So how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine, a specific cure for the parasite. When they recreated a stronger form of parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're gonna use this cure to save only those people who believe in the Oyashiro-sama, and as a result, the village will only have those fervent believers. They're going to make themselves the absolute rulers of Hinamizawa. Wait, I still might be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only inside Hinamizawa? History proves that when their goal is to control others, people desire to spread their religion across a wide area. I am sure that they conducted research not only to bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but also to overcome its weakness, namely, that it only thrives in Hinamizawa. According to Mio-san's research, the parasite doesn't like its host to be far from the region. Its weakness is distance. If they could extend that distance, if they could extend the area where it can live, I wonder how far along their research is. By now, the parasite may be able to live not only in Hinamizawa but in Okonomiya as well. Or maybe even the city? Maybe the whole prefecture. I might be able to cover nearby prefectures as well. This is too serious to just call it a conspiracy. It's horrifying enough, and it's scale large enough to call it a revolution. The day of revival is probably not far off. I can tell by how they killed Mio-san and by the extent of their pressure they're putting on me. They are trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means, because that is the day, or that day is coming ever closer. I'm the only one who can stand up against a revolution. I can't trust anybody. She can't trust anyone now. I think I can trust Keiichi-kun, okay? Keiichi-kun has been on your side, but now he's doubting you as well though. I think, but no one else. Mi-chan is out of the question. I can't trust Rika-chan either. Sadako-chan and Rika-chan stick together like super glue, so I can't trust Satoko-chan either. Mi-chan is out of the question. Okay. I can't trust any adults. I can't trust anybody. I'm sorry, I keep repeating, like I'm looking up. I thought I was gonna go to the next line. No one is on my side. I have to stand up against them alone. The clock is ticking towards that day, and the ticking noise made me frustrated. How should I fight against them? What should I do? I needed time to think. I needed a place, a safe area where I could concentrate on thinking. So yeah, safe area is the dump, her secret hideout. Fortunately, I had such an area already. My hideout at the garbage dump. Nobody ever goes there, so it's safe. Even if they found out about the place, I'm familiar with its surroundings. I know escape routes and the places where I can hide. But it has a big shortcoming as a hiding place. It's not hard to imagine what that is. I don't have any stock of food there. Yes. That's why I came home. I'm gonna bring some snacks. I opened one of my father's drawers and took out his cash box. The contents haven't changed since the last time. There were many new 10,000 yen bills in the cash box. I took them all. What are you gonna buy? I couldn't tell how many bills there actually were, but it looked to be about 80 of them. 80 $10,000 bill or 10,000 yen bills, I mean. This should be plenty. That's definitely plenty. If I evaded them long enough to use all this money, that would mean I did pretty well. Plus, I might use it to buy someone off. You can never have too much money, especially in a situation like this. Like Rena, remember Rena in the earlier episode, she was like, my father doesn't know the value of money anymore, right? Because he keeps spending on Rena. Now she's taking all this money because she's too paranoid now. I didn't take the bank book. If they were waiting in ambush at the bank, I'd be done for. It's too risky to withdraw money at the bank. I grabbed my backpack. I took the key for my bicycle. I put everything I think would be convenient to have into the backpack. I didn't care if it got heavy. I'd choose what was necessary to carry around later at my hideout. If there ended up being something I didn't need, I could just leave it there. I looked at the clock. It had been 30 minutes since I came home. I stayed here. Yeah, she stayed here too long. I rushed out of the house. I went to a small convenience store and bought as much sweet bread and canned food as I could to fit in my bag. An old lady was at a register, probably suffering from dementia. She showed no interest in the extraordinary amount of food I was buying. But as soon as the manager of the store checked the sales that night, he'd find out. The idea didn't bother me because I can no longer walk around in the village in daylight anyway. My backpack was full and the cans hurt my back as I walked. But that didn't bother me either. I got to my hideout still carrying the heavy backpack. I organized the stuff I bought. It was very heavy to carry, but now I had sufficient food. The abandoned construction office still has running water, so I could get some from there. I'd want to get some vegetables, but in a situation like this, I could hardly complain. After I organized things, I took out the scrapbooks I hid here, and I put my brain in the top gear, flipping through the pages. So now what? How am I going to stand up against this gigantic conspiracy? I needed to calm down, stay cool, but also to think fast. There might be or not be a lot of time, so I'd have to hurry, but I don't know what to do. It's easy to run to school in the morning when I oversleep. It's easy because I know where I should go. But now I don't know where I should go to or what I should do. Now that I've come to this point, I should tell Oishi-san everything. It's highly likely he's an enemy. But that doesn't matter anymore. If it was true, I'd just declare war. But if he was on my side, he'd be my only remaining hope. I'm far too weak to stand alone against the terrifying scale of this conspiracy, poised to instill fear throughout Japan. I'd have to use a public phone to make the phone call. There's only one public phone in this village that stands at the place where it's hard for people to spot you. The phone booth. Yeah, this is the phone booth where Keiichi died. In chapter 1, it stands in the middle of nowhere where nobody really comes around. Many bugs gather around the light when it's dark, and it's not a pleasant place to go. But I can't think of any other public phones I can use to contact Oishi-san without being seen. Oh, it's morning again. Even though it stands in the middle of nowhere, it's still dangerous to use in the light. Oh, she's just thinking of it. Okay. I should wait until nightfall and take advantage of the darkness. I heard that Oishi-san had been holed up in the station since Mio-san's murder case, so I should be able to reach him anytime. I have the number for the direct line to his office too. The sky was still very bright. Even though I had no time, I still had to wait for it to get dark. Frustrated, I glared at the sunset. I should find something to do. I couldn't waste any time that I had, so there must be something I can do. After I thought about what I could do, I found there was something I wanted to confirm, something I've been worried about. I couldn't do anything else before it got too dark anyway. Staying here doing nothing would just make me more frustrated. I made my decision and left the hideout. So Rena's father paced up and down restlessly in front of his house. A bicycle appeared, its rider ringing the bell.
Shuzai-san!
A police officer from the Hinamizawa police station had shown up. Okay, I guess he found out that the money was gone and I guess Rena was not here. Having rushed to get there, he was breathing hard.
お待たせしました。状況をお伺いします。確かに施錠して出て行ったんです。そしたら、まず家の扉が開きっぱなしになってまして。
He led the police officer into the house.
それで、私の部屋の手提げ金庫がまんまとやられまして。
ご主人、これはその時のまま？触ってない？
ええ。犯人の指紋とかあるだろうと思いまして、金庫には触れてません。ただ中身を確認したので、中のものには少し触れています。
それで、取られたものは？
貯金通帳と印鑑は大丈夫だったんですが、中に入ってた現金を全部。
通帳と印鑑、大丈夫だったんですか？そりゃあ不幸中の幸いでしたね。最近は通帳から足がつくと思って、プロは現金しか持ってかないんですよね。こりゃあだいぶ手慣れた空き巣かな。金庫ごと持ってかないで、この場で開けちゃうってんだから、相当のプロだね。で、お金はどのくらいやられちゃって？
It was about 800,000.
ちょっと数えてなかったんですが、多分1万円札で100枚近くはあったと思います。
そう。それだけの現金が入ってることを誰かに知らせた？
いえ、誰にも知らせてはいませんが、あの女たちならこの家に金があることを知っていたかも。
あの女？ちょっとお話を聞かせていただけますか？
実はあまりみっともいい話じゃないんでお恥ずかしいんですが。
Oh, he's thinking about Rena and Teppei. Okay, okay.
マミやリナという女とですね。
Just then, the phone rang.
すみません、ちょっと出てきますね。すぐ戻ります。はい、竜宮です。
It's Keiichi.
すみません。前原と申しますが、レナさんはいらっしゃいますか？
レーナはまだ帰ってきてません。
まだ帰ってない？
いや、申し訳ないんですが、ちょっと今立て込んでます。遊びの電話でしたら、またかけ直していただけますかね。申し訳ないですね。失礼いたします。
He hung up after that. I mean, understandable because yeah, he's panicking as well, so he didn't have time to think. Rena? We're back with Rena. Dude, it's getting redder and redder. Look at this. I was stunned. I mean, it was red earlier, but it looked much more red right now. It didn't look like anything had changed on the surface. It was hard to find this place at all because it perfectly blends in with the surroundings. I only found this place again because I remembered there was a tree with a big lump of wood on it nearby. The spot where I buried the corpses was perfectly camouflaged as if nothing had happened. That's why at first I thought I came to the wrong place. But I could make certain once I stick a shovel in the ground. I should be able to tell right away whether this place was dug up before or not. After several false starts, I found the exact spot where I buried the corpses. But the biggest problem of all, oh my god, is that there are no bags in there at all. Wait, what? But she went back to the place where they hid the bodies? Why? How come? Did I bury them deeper than this? No, I didn't. I remember exactly how deep I buried them. I know I didn't bury them deeper than this. I wasn't expecting this. I came here to check the corpses. I just wanted to do that to kill some time. I didn't want to stay in my hideout doing nothing, so I came here to check if the corpses I buried were still there. I'd make sure that they were still there and I'd feel relieved. It was supposed to go like that. This was such an unexpected turn of events that I broke out in a cold sweat. Why are the corpses that they've been killing always goes missing? The one with Teppei and Higurashi, the third chapter, was also gone. And now, this one is also gone. What is going on? I don't need to calm down to think about what happened. Corpses can come back to life and crawl out of the ground. Like this one, Ren has her friends with her, right? So maybe one of them removed it, moved it, or whatever, right? But for Keiichi back then, it was only him, right? So it's very hard to imagine who did that, or who moved it, or who removed it. Who did it and what for what purpose? Did anyone happen to see us burying the corpses here, and did they dig them out after we left? What if they handed them over to the police? No, it can't be. It's been quite a while since the day we buried them. It was before the Watanagashi festival. So if the police did find the corpses when Oishi contacted me to know about Rena and Teppei, but he didn't tell me anything about them. I don't think he was hiding anything on purpose either. So that means the police don't know about Rena and Teppei yet. So then why are the corpses gone? That would only leave only one answer. Who knows about this place? One of us came back here, dug out the bags and took them away. Yeah, one of their friends. Or maybe it could be Rena, right? So she just doesn't remember because of this paranoia here. Who knows? The first who comes to mind is Mion. I mean the Sonozaki family, but I can't think of a reason why they would do that. The murder of Rena and Teppei has nothing to do with them. I'm sure they don't want to get involved either, let alone be falsely accused. They must want to stay away as far from this case as possible. So why would they want to keep the corpses? It's like keeping a joker even though you lose if you have the joker by the end of the game. If I was Michan, what would I do? What would I do if I was a club president? The joker is a card that you want to get rid of, at least in the game I mentioned earlier, but it becomes a powerful card in other games. What kind of game would that be? An electric shock ran through my spine. At the same time, I realized they are one step ahead of me. The Sonozaki family got the corpses to use him as a joker. As a wild card, they're trying to use him to sell me out to the police. The Sonozaki family is trying to kill me using their death squad, but they want to have insurance just in case they fail. The thing they're afraid of the most is that I might work together with the cops. If they could prevent that from happening, I'd have no one to work with. If that happens, I can no longer run away from them. I'd still be a fish in their pond. They're going to use the corpses to sell me out to the police for the murder of Rena and Teppei. Honestly, they shouldn't have not said in chapter 5, right, that the Sonozaki family was not doing this. And also Mion, she shouldn't have told that to Keiichi. For example, just for example, right? Because now we know that the Sonozaki family didn't really do anything, right? Or is not really doing anything with this kind of stuff that's happening to our characters, right? So now we just know that Rena is just, thinking this too much. She's being paranoid a lot for basically nothing. She's thinking they're after her, but in reality, no one is, right? Probably no one is. If the police started seeing me as a suspect, they'd never listen to my story. They could have been my last hope, but this will certainly turn them against me. But I'm sure the Sonozaki family doesn't want to use their joker unless absolutely necessary. After all, Mion helped bury the corpses. Plus, they don't want the police to hover around Hinamizawa when the day of revival is so close. I'm going to call Oishi tonight and I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to tell him everything, including the things you haven't even told Keiichi. Okay, try telling Oishi that. He's not gonna believe you. He will think you're crazy. I don't know if Oishi will believe me. This is a gamble and my chance of winning is very small. Plus, my worst enemy has a joker, the bags with the corpses inside. I'm impressed with Mion. That's just what I'd expect from the leader of our club. This is a battle that I'm betting my life on, but to Mion, this is like a board game taking place across Hinamizawa itself. I grinned, repeating to myself that it's just a game. I put my life on the line for every club activity we do because I don't want to suffer the punishment. This time, that's become the literal truth. There could be only one reason why they're trying so hard to drive me into a corner. It's because they're afraid of me. I assumed I was a little girl with no power running about in confusion. But my enemy must not be thinking that way. If they didn't think I was a threat to them, they wouldn't risk like this to drive me into a corner. That means the scrapbooks that Mio-san left me must be way more dangerous to them than I think they are. I see. They have a joker. But so do I. The joker I have is so deadly and so powerful that it can break their plot into pieces. That's why they're so eager to find me. A cornered mouse really can bite a cat. I felt my fear towards my enemy fade away all of a sudden. Just as I fear them, so do they fear me too. So this is an evenly matched game. I don't have as bad a hand as I thought I did. I was right to come here. I found out about the card my enemy was holding, so this is a big deal. I felt shiver with excitement. I grinned to encourage myself. I don't need to be here any longer. They know this place. They might come here to find me. It's not safe for me to stay here for long. I decided to go back to my hideout. On the way back, I passed close to my house. Oh, then she's gonna see the cops here. She's gonna be like, oh, what the F? I noticed something different right away. I hid behind a bush and looked at the front gate of my house. I think this is hilarious for some reason to me. Yeah. My father was talking to a police officer. I strained to catch her conversation. But then again, remember when we started the game, what do you call this? The words, I guess the author was saying it's gonna be humorous. The clowns, something like that. So yeah, it's kind of funny though.
はい。いつもはそこに止めてあるはずなんです。
My father pointed to police where I usually parked my bicycle. I guess the father is talking about Rena, right? She has a motorbike, right? And then she parks it here. And Rena is thinking it was her.
わかりました。もしお嬢さんが帰られましたらご連絡をください。
Oh, okay. Actually, daughter? I don't know. Maybe she's thinking about differently.
こちらの方でも探してみます。
Michan, you're good. Did you already play your Joker? Mion always starts a battle by attacking without hesitation and wins. It seems like the police are already after me. My chance of being able to explain the conspiracy to Uishi was already small, but this makes it even smaller. No. That's why I'm going to talk to Uishi. He sees the Sonozaki family as his enemy and he's trying to expose everything about them before his retirement. That's why he'll be on my side. He's not going to fall for the trick. Of course, there's a high possibility that everything was part of their trap from the beginning. It's possible that he claimed that the Sonozaki family was his enemy in order to make me believe that he's on my side. But their Joker is actually giving me hope. If Uishi is one of them, it would be too early to play their Joker. Uishi isn't one of them. That's why they got the Joker so they can play it before I go to the police. No, wait. They might be, that might be a trick to make me think that way in order to make me trust Uishi. When Mion gives me two choices to choose from, it's usually better to choose the one I like without thinking too much. Mion, after all, likes to guess people's intention in order to confuse them. So when you think about it, a choice too much, you're already in her trap. I'm going to do as I planned. I'm going to call Uishi after it gets dark. If he's going to become my ally, we can talk about the future. And if he isn't, that I realized was what I had to think about before it got dark. That was a lot of inner dialogue there with Rena. Dude, she's so paranoid right now. I mean, the cops is there because you took the money.
いえいえ、時間のことは気にしないでくださいよ。残業代はついちゃいませんが、ちゃんと勤務中ですので。
I started a conversation with an ordinary greeting to try and gauge his reaction. There's a 50-50 chance that Uishi is one of them. If he's their pawn, he'll either lure me out somewhere so he can arrest me, or he'll ask me where the scrapbooks are. But even if he didn't, that wouldn't prove anything. It's going to be difficult to determine if he's on my side or not, and I have to tell him about the scrapbooks no matter what. My heart is beating very fast. Even if I was sure that Oishi isn't their pawn, I'll have to make him believe such a crazy story. And I have to do that over the phone. Worrying wouldn't do anything for me. This is, I know, a gamble. I have but a small chance of winning. If I didn't put my chips on the table, the game wouldn't even start.
以前も少し話しましたが、やっぱり私、何者かに狙われてるみたいです。
それは本当ですか？
ええ。以前までは、ひょっとすると気のせいかもしれないと思う程度だったのですが、昨日あたりから間違いないと思うレベルになりました。
間違いないレベルと言いますと？
数台の車が私の身辺を伺っているようなんです。うちの1台は白いワゴン車で、造園屋に偽装した4人の特攻隊と思われる人間が乗っています。
特攻隊というと、園崎家の暗殺部隊の？
はい。おそらくそうに違いないと思います。今日、学校にまで詰めかけてきました。あわやのところで逃れましたが、危ないところでした。し
かし、なんだって急に。まさか竜宮さんが富武殺しについて嗅ぎ回っているとでも思い込んだんですかね。
Oishi hasn't mentioned the scrapbooks yet. It sounded rather unnatural to beat around the bush like that, but by mentioning Tomitake's murder. But as I haven't told him about the scrapbooks, it could be a legitimate reaction.
実はですね、ついさっき嫌な話を耳にしました。もうちょっとちゃんと調べてからお耳に入れたかったのですが、お互い新情報を知ったら伝える約束です。ですので、とりあえずお話しておきます。実は、沖宮の園崎組で悪い動きがあるらしいんです。
園崎組で悪い動きですか？
ええ。ちょっとショックな話かもしれません。実は若い衆に人探しを命じているという話なんですがね。
人探し？
My heart stopped for a moment upon hearing that. Are they...
私もにわかには信じられません。探しているのはあなたらしいんですよ。
Is it though? The thing is, with Rena thinking like this, she might be just imagining this, right?
竜宮レナを探させているそうなんです。まだ仕入れたばかりの情報なんで何が狙いかはつかめていませんが、あなたの名前が出ていることだけは間違いありません。
Or maybe they're actually looking for her because it's nighttime already and she's missing, right? Maybe that.
私が身に危険を感じ始めているという話、信じてもらえますか？
ねえ、互いの話がきれいに一致します。竜宮さん、これはどういうことですか？お心当たりは？
What they're really looking for are the scrapbooks I have. They want to know where they are and they believe that I'm hiding them. They must be thinking that they'll be able to hide the information in the scrapbooks forever if they succeed in shutting my mouth. But I couldn't tell Oishi about that yet. I answered the discussion by asking him a question.
大石さんの方で何かわかりませんか？私には全然どうしてだか。
私だってわかりません。園崎組があなたという個人を狙って動くなんて考えられない。でも事実なんです。信頼できる筋から得た情報で紛れはありません。
園崎組が私に関心があるのではなく、 園崎本家が私に関心があるというのはどうですか？
こういった動きはめったに見せるものではありません。例えば組の上納金の持ち逃げがあったとか、そういうトラブルがあった時にはこういう騒ぎもあったりします。でもそれは大抵組関係の業界の話で、仇である個人が対象となるなんて前例がありません。
私がその貴重な一例目であるのは嬉しいですが、前例がないで済まされちゃこっちはたまらないです。
まあ竜宮さん、落ち着いて落ち着いて。今度は竜宮さんが話す番じゃないんですか？
何をですか？
竜宮さん、園崎組がこういう動きを見せることはおいそれとあることじゃありません。何かの誤解にしたってなかなかあることじゃない。心当たりはありませんか？竜宮さんにとっては何気ない何かが彼らを誤解させている可能性もあります。私の読みでは連中、あなたが園崎本家周辺を嗅ぎ回っていて、何かとんでもない事実を掴んだ、もしくは掴んだと思い込んでるのどちらかじゃないかと思います。それは竜宮さんが日々の生活でしてしまうような些細なものじゃない。もっと目立つ何かです。本当に心当たりはありませんか？
Is he my ally or my enemy? I still can't figure it out. This is it. Make it your decision, Rena Ryugu.
多分私がミオさんのスクラップ帳を預かっているからだと思います。
ミオさん、高野ミオのスクラップ帳ですか？そいつは一体。
If he was my enemy, he wouldn't be able to hide his excitement. But his voice remained steady and it didn't sound unusual when he said the word.
はい。実は私、ミオさんが殺される数日前に彼女と図書館で出会って、その時に意気投合して彼女に研究をまとめたスクラップ帳を数冊預けられたんです。
研究をまとめた？
はい。ミオさんはひなみ沢村の歴史について深く研究していたんです。そしてそれらを数冊のスクラップ帳にまとめていました。奴らはミオさんを殺した時、スクラップ帳が何冊か足りないのに気づき、それを私に託していたことを気づいたのだと思います。
奴らの狙いはスクラップ帳？竜宮さん、それは一体何なんですか？
ひなみ沢がかつて鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれていた太古の昔についての研究をまとめたものです。お社様信仰の発祥について書かれています。
お社様信仰？人食い鬼の末裔が仙人になってっていう？
ええ。ミオさんはその研究の中でお社様信仰についてのある重大な秘密を暴いたんです。その研究結果はお社様を神聖であると崇める人たちにとっては極めて冒涜的な内容でした。
なるほどなるほど。信仰の特に盲信的な連中にはその研究の存在が許せなかった。
Oishi was taking notes. I could hear him writing something while he spoke.
彼らはミオさんを消し、そのミオさんが残したスクラップ帳も葬ろうとしているんです。最初のうちは私が持っているのかどうか分かりかねているようだったんですが、昨日を境に疑わしきは殺せという方針に変わったように感じています。
なるほど。そりゃ好ましい状況ではありませんね。あなたの身辺を警戒させましょう。 あとそのスクラップ帳を拝見させてください。高野殺しの何かの手がかりになるかもしれない。
あ、いえ、警察の内部にも奴らの手先が混じっている可能性が高いです。ですから身辺の警戒は結構です。自分の身は自分で守ります。あとスクラップ帳も同じです。彼らはそれを抹消しようとするでしょう。たとえ警察の中であっても。
園崎組があなた一人をターゲットに動いている以上、もしこれが園崎本家の頂上からの指令なら、その可能性は確かにありますね。園崎本家が敵だった場合、悔しいですが私たちの中にも内通者がいないとは限りません。
そういうことです。ですから私のことは気にしないでください。それよりお願いがあります。とてもとても重要なお願いです。
言ってください。何ですか？
ミオさんの研究によるならば、今ひなみ沢の闇に恐ろしい陰謀があり、それが遠くないうちに実行されそうなんです。
陰謀？それは一体何です？
I got tense all of a sudden. If I tell him everything, it's going to sound like a big lie. I should leave out the bizarre sounding parts for now. It'd actually make the story more credible.
奴らの正体はお社様信仰の狂信者たちです。奴らは明治以降すっかり下火になってしまったお社様信仰と意向を取り戻し、太古の鬼ヶ淵村の時代のような厳格な信仰を復活させようとしているんです。
続けてください。メモしてます。
ミオさんの研究によると、お社様伝説の根底には大昔のある風土病の存在があるんです。その風土病の猛威がお社様のたたりと恐れられ、それを治療できる医者的存在がお社様と崇められ、村を支配した。
そうだったんですか。なるほど。続けて。
その風土病は土着のある特殊な寄生虫によるものだったんです。ですが長い世代を繰り返すうちに徐々に無害になっていき、ご存知の通り今では何事もありません。彼らにとって風土病が無害ではお社様のたたりがなく、たたりがなければ救いも必要ない。だからお社様の神聖性が保てないわけです。
それを復活させようとしたら、それはつまり風土病を蘇らせるということを意味するわけですかな。
そうです。奴らはお社様伝説をゼロからもう一度やり直し、お社様の降臨を再現しようとしているんです。そのため古代の強力な風土病を再発させる原始の寄生虫を研究していたと思われます。連続開始事件の正体はこの研究結果を試すものだったんです。そして富武さんに対して古文書に残る氏脇病を再現できた。奴らは5年かけて原始の力を持つ寄生虫を復活させたんです。
なんてこった。
奴らの最終的な目的はその寄生虫をばらまき、お社様に帰依する者のみを特効薬で救い、お社様信者のみの楽園を作ろうとしているんです。
それは間違いなく事実でしょうね。
このスクラップ帳にはその寄生虫がひなみ沢の人間のほぼ全員に寄生している事実が書かれています。医学的根拠に基づいていて、その寄生を間違いなく裏付けます。
信じられない。お寮のババアめ、ほっときゃいつでもお迎えが来るだろうに。自分一人じゃ三途の川一つ渡らないのか。 こいつは無差別テロだぞ。なんてこった。
本来の寄生虫はひなみ沢一帯にしか適用できませんでしたが、彼らはその競技の傾向からより広域にわたって寄生虫が環境適応できるよう改良を加えている可能性が高いです。ひなみ沢だけにとどまらない。沖宮を飲み込むか、市内全域に及ぶか、県全体にまで及ぶか。
くそったり。どうすりゃいいんだ、くそ。首謀者は誰です？
Is Oishi actually... I don't know, man. I was thinking like, oh, Oishi is really invested in this, or is he maybe just pretending?
ひなみ沢御三家、おそらくは園崎家の当主でしょう。ただしお涼が主会なのか、お涼すらも駒なのかは分かりません。私には奴らを奴らと呼ぶことしかできない。その規模も全く分からないんです。
その研究がどこで行われているか分かりますか？そこを押さえます。
それはこのスクラップ帳にも書かれていません。大石さんの方で見当はつきませんか？
そんな寄生虫だのなんだのの研究をしてるってことはかなりしっかりした施設でしょうな。改造拳銃ぐらいならガレージを改造して秘密工場にもできるだろうが、寄生虫じゃそうはいかないでしょう。
ミオさんは入江診療所に勤めている看護師でした。入江診療所が怪しいということはありませんか？ひなみ沢の規模から見て立派すぎるのが前から不審だと思っていました。
はあ、入江診療所か。
They need a specifically designed or specially designed facility with advanced airtight containment, among other considerations, to be able to do research on a dangerous parasites like this one. It's easy to equate suspicious research with a clinic facility, but it also sounds too easy and a little cliche. At first, I thought they converted part of the clinic into a secret research center, but that actually sounds a little too unrealistic.
とにかくそれがどこかは分かりません。それはどうか大石さんの方で調べてください。怪しげなところを片っ端から調べられないんですか？
ご存知の通り、警察は強制捜査には令状ってもんが必要です。そりゃ後付けで取ることもできますがね、間違いなくそこだという決定的な証拠があった時の話です。
Oishi is a police officer. If he's going to work as a police officer, he has to follow the rules. I mean, yes, you need evidence there to actually go there, right? A warrant. To issue a warrant, I mean.
でも大掛かりな細菌テロが計画されているのだけは事実なんです。しかもミオさんの殺し方の請求さから見て、私は彼らが実行に移す X デーが近いような気がしてなりません。
わかりました、わかりました。こちらの方でも何とかしています。そんなとんでもない計画なら園崎本家も一枚岩ってわけにはいかないでしょう。必ずどこかに胸中で反対している人間がいるはずです。そういう人物と接触できないか、こちらでも探してみます。任せてください。こういうのは私の得意とするところですよ。
Oishi-san laughed to try to cheer me up. I was upset with the work of the police before, but Oishi's positive reaction is very reliable. He's what you might call an outlaw. Oishi's greatest advantage to me is that he doesn't actually play by the rules. It's very encouraging that he has a kind of skill, especially since we have to act both very quickly and without conclusive evidence. The police normally investigate incidents after they've happened, but that doesn't work in this case. If this incident actually does occur, it's going to be a big disaster.
ミオさんは なんて恐ろしい陰謀を暴いたんだろうと恐ろしくなります。
気の毒な最後でした。岐阜の山中でドラム缶の中でこんがりでしてね。気の毒なことです。そういえばちょいと彼女のことで変わった話がありましてね。
変わった話ですか？
ええ。最初何か事件に関係があるのかなって思ってたんですがね。今のとてつもない陰謀の話に比べたらさまつな話です。多分鑑識のちょっとしたミスでしょ
いえ、聞かせてください。そういう約束じゃなかったですか？
う。いえ、隠すつもりなんかありません。ただちょいと夏向きな話だったもんで。龍宮さん、渡流しの晩を覚えてますか？あの晩の祭りの終わった後です。あなたの仲良し5人組と富武、高野の7人で談笑してますよね。
談笑というほどではありませんでしたが、少し話をしたような気がします。
いえ、実はですね、高野の遺体が見つかったのはその晩なわけですが、岐阜県警さんの鑑識では死後24時間以上って出ちゃったらしいって噂があるんです。でもそれだと話がおかしい。あの祭りの前の晩には殺されていることになる。
殺されてることになる。
I'm confused. If she was found dead on in the night of the Watanagashi and she had been dead for 24 hours, that means...
つまり早い話が、渡流しの日には高野はもう死んでることになるんですよ。
So yeah, this is basically what Oishi said to Keiichi on the ending of the second chapter.
だからあの祭りの晩に会った彼女は実はゾンビだったのかななんてね。
Yeah, you can joke about that, but for Rena, she's gonna take this super seriously now.
まあ、あちらの鑑識のちょいとしたポカでしょう。
See, I felt my brain freezing over. Oishi laughed, saying that it sounded like a horror story from summer camp. But actually, the fact that Miyo-san's time and death was off backed up her incredulous theories. I haven't mentioned this to Oishi-kun or Keiichi. If I did, they'd start to doubt everything else I've said. That's how absolutely unbelievable this theory is. At any rate, the mismatch with the time of Miyo-san's death means a lot. What irony. Miyo-san came up with the theory and she proved it correct with her own life. No, not yet. This doesn't prove anything yet. If her theory is true, it might happen again. There's no way it can be true. Or it can't be true. I still can't believe it. But Oishi just said it. He said Miyo-san was already dead on the night of the festival. It means that the Miyo-san who was stalking arm in arm with Tomitaki-san on that night wasn't Miyo-san. Miyo-san was already dead, so that wasn't her. That means she was... I felt a new sensation, one that I'd never felt in my life before. It wasn't an ordinary kind of dread. It was fear of the truth. No fear is worse than the fear of accepting a truth you don't want to believe. Compared to this fear, the fear of being stalked by the Sonozaki family or being burned alive in an oil drum looks silly. That's how deep of a fear I felt. And I felt it crawling all over my body.
リグさん、悪いことは言いません。警察が信用できないお気持ちもわかります。園崎本家は市内全域を牛耳っていますからね。署にも園崎家の御用聞きみたいな連中がいますし、それでも今のあなたは危険だ。せめて私個人を信用してはくれませんか。私以外の誰も知らないところにあなたをかくまいます。 私をどうか信用してください。
I don't doubt Uishi at this point. I actually think he's very reliable. I would have said yes without a second thought, but the situation has drastically changed. If Miyo-san's death backs up this unbelievable truth, I trust Uishi. I believe he'll find the enemy and take them down. But I'd rather protect myself on my own than let someone else do it. If the unbelievable truth is real, then I couldn't trust anybody except myself. Even myself might appear before me too.
大石さん、本当にありがとうございます。とにかく奴らの研究所を突き止めて、なんとか陰謀を食い止めてください。私はしばらく身を潜めます。また連絡しますね。
I noticed I'd been on the phone too long. I'd been using this phone with a light on in the middle of the darkness. In other words, I'd been telling everybody I'm here.
もしもしもしもし
She hang up. Okay, we're in Uishi's side now. Uishi wanted to talk more. He clicked his tongue and put the phone down. His junior Kumagai rushed into the room. Kuma-chan.
おいさん、やっぱりヤバそうな山っす。竜宮レナを探させているのはその先組葛西辰義。
Tatsuyoshi Kasai.
葛西園崎茜の懐刀じゃないですか。
Kasai was a pretty high-ranking big shot, even amongst the boss's younger brothers. He used to be the boss of a subordinate branch, but after suffering a bad injury during a gang war, he stepped down and now he served as the boss's aide. So who are we playing right now? Yeah, it's not Uishi Kumagai, so I guess one of the cops in the police station, one of the traitors Uishi's saying. Akane Sonozaki relies especially on him, and as her right-hand man, he's still feared even now. When Kasai moves, other gangs considered it a declaration of war. They fear him very much. He's a warrior among warriors. He's been lying low these days, but he's led countless numbers of gang wars. He's also the leader of the professional attack squadron that went to the US to receive military training during the dam conflict. Okay. They were crazy enough to think attacking the Ministry of Construction for real.
情報や界隈でも相当な騒ぎになってるようです。竜宮レナが園崎組にとって相当都合の悪いものを握ってるんじゃないかともっぱらの噂です。
情報屋の皆さんもさすがに勘がいいですね。こりゃとんでもない山になってきたぞ。
佐藤さんは例の建設省と寮の秘密交渉テープじゃないかって見てるみたいっす。だとすれば人が死ぬ騒ぎになるっすよ。
This is more serious than that Uishi thought. If her story is true, this is a massive conspiracy. It's going to cause more than quite a few deaths. It might destroy the entire village or even the entire prefecture. This is going to be the biggest terrorist strike in history.
竜宮レナ、やばいですよ。くまちゃん、覆面パトを竜宮家に貼り付かせてください。本日付で竜宮レナから暴力団組織に脅迫を受けている訴えがあったため身辺警護ってことにします。ガジオには後で私から話します。
いえ、実は竜宮レナは自宅を出ているらしいです。駐在所からの連絡ではどうも家の金を何十万か盗んで雲隠れしているらしいんです。それから竜宮家の前には園崎組の車が1台張り付いているという連絡が。
ばっか野郎！なんでそいつは早く言わないんだ！竜宮レナは相当高度に狙われてるぞ。さっきの電話は家じゃなかったんだ。竜宮レナを至急保護します。車回せ。家の前に張り付いてる野郎を締め上げろ。 おい、わけの何か来い。
おっす。
Shion now. Okay. We're with Shion.
レナさんが家にいない？この時間に？
はい。しばらく家の前で待たせていただきましたが、戻られる気配がなかったもので一度引き上げました。
誰かの家に遊びに行ってるとかじゃない？案外本家でお姉たちと一緒に部活大会だったりしてね。
Shion was lying down on the sofa, picturing her sister and her friends fooling around and playing games like they always did.
一応それを疑って本家にも寄らせていただきましたが、いらっしゃられないようでした。ミオンさんもレナさんがお帰りになられないのを心配しておられました。
そうなの？どうしたんだろうね。はて。
めったにないことだろうとは思いますが、たちの悪いのに絡まれたのかもしれません。
Okay. Okay, I kind of understand now. Remember when Rena was talking to Mion, right? Because she wanted to talk to Kasai. She said that, "Oh, I have something of Kasai's, some item. I want to return it back to him, or return it back to him personally, right?" And now, I guess Mion told Kasai, right? So that's why Kasai went to Rena's house, but she wasn't there. She didn't come home, and now they're looking for her because, yeah, he wants I guess he wants that item that Rena has, and that backfired to Rena. I guess she was lying, and now it backfired, and now she's paranoid that she's been chased by the Sonozaki family. Come on, man.
念のためレナさんを見かけていないかどうか聞き込ませています。
あの子に限っては大丈夫だと思うけどな。何気に強いしね。
それはそうと、私に何の用だったんです？
Kasai took off his jacket. She only told him to go see Rena because she heard that Rena had requested to see him in person. See? Yes, this.
あれ？言わなかったっけ？なんかね、葛西の落とし物を拾ってるらしいよ。お姉が言うには、レナさんそれを直接返したいんだってさ。
Now everyone is paranoid. Oishi, Kumagai, Kuma-chan, I mean. Everyone is paranoid that the Sonozaki core after Rena.
おうおう、いいね。若い子にモテることで。
I mean, she did say she likes the cute sunglasses and cute mustache, right?
堪忍してください。しかしご無事だといいのですが。
Right then, the phone rang. Kasa answered it while loosening his tie.
はい。はい。わかりました。直ちに。
Kasa sounded very serious, and Shion immediately figured out who he was talking to.
誰？お父さん？
はい。レナさんを大至急保護して本家へ護送せよとの園崎本家からの命令です。
鬼ババの直令？レナさん、何をやらかしたんだか。ああ、爪かな。かわいそうに。くわばらくわばら。
And now Keiichi.
レナがまだ帰ってないって？
うん。実は聞いた話だと、レナ自宅を出てどこかに雲隠れしてるらしい。
雲隠れ？どういうことだ？
あと、これはさっき入ってきた情報なんだけど、警察がリュウグウレナの行方を探してるって。
なんだって？
なんでもレナの家の前にはすでに覆面パトカーが1台張り付いてるらしい。村の中にもすでにサイレンなしのパトカーが数台入り込んでるみたい。あと君吉本家にも警察から電話があって、竜宮レナの所在を至急確認したいので懲戒連絡網で確認をしてほしいと連絡があったって。
ってことはまさか俺たちの隠した死体が見つかったってことか。
We hid them deep in the mountains. They couldn't have found them that easily.
それは 100% ありえない。私が保証するよ。
おう、よく 100% なんて言い切れるな。
実はね、あの死体園崎家の方で秘密の場所に処分させてもらったの。
Okay, so it was me. It was actually Mion. She moved, or let the family move the bags, the bodies, I mean.
秘密の場所？
まあ。
I guess put them in the Sonozaki, we call torture room, underground torture room, maybe there.
そこは深く考えない。
So they can really be found, right?
あのね、私たちが埋めたあの山林、後でよくよく聞いてみたら、今年の夏に大規模な伐採計画があるって分かったの。だからちょっと私の方で手を回させてもらったってわけ。
そっか、なるほどな。お前味方なら頼りになるけど敵だったら怖いやつだな。
But you know what? It's kind of like kind of scary, not scary, like mess up. Like Mion is talking like normally, right? Like I said I just told some of the Sonozaki family members to move some bodies. Like it was like nothing, right? Like it's weird. Like she's so calm saying that, right? I mean, I guess she's used to this because of the Sonozaki family being shady and all, but it's just weird to me, man. Like it's just very, very normal the way she talks about it. Like look at that. Yeah, they moved the bags to a secret place, by the way. Like nothing. Like she's laughing as well. Oh, look at this. Like the Sonozaki family members are gonna be, they're gonna be thinking like, why are there corpses here? Did you kill this?
おじさんを誰だと思ってるんだか。
じゃあ死体じゃないよな。一体どうして警察がレナを？
わからない。北条哲平と間宮里奈が竜宮家を食い物にしようとしてたって話は裏の界隈ではちょっと知られてたらしいんだよ。そっちの角度からレナが浮上したのかもしれない。とにかく容疑者ってわけじゃないみたい。でも重要参考人とかって扱いではあるだろうね。
どっちだって同じだぜ。くそ、せっかくレナは平穏な生活を取り戻したんだぞ。ここで台無しになんかしてたまるか。ミオ、俺たちでなんとかレナをかばおう。
当然だよ。とにかく警察よりも先にレナの身柄を確保するようさっき沖宮の家に伝えた。本家でならレナを 120% 警察から守れる。
レナをかくまうだけじゃ解決にはならないんじゃないのか。レナの嫌疑を何とかしないと。
そこは保護してから考えるよ。アリバイを証明する証人なんかいくらでも作れるし、本家に出入りしてる最高の弁護士もいる。私たちは仲間を絶対に見捨てない。
ああ、そうさ。絶対にレナを守ってやろうな。くそ、俺ができるのはミオンに頼るだけかよ。情けねえぜ。
まあまあ、蛇の道は蛇ってことだよ。おじさんの方で手を尽くすからここは任せな。あと村全体で警察の目をごまかすためアリバイを作る。レナがゴグラのあたりで目撃されたことにしよう。警察の目が広域に散ればそれだけ薄くなるはずだよ。
なるほどな。そいつはうまいぜ。
こんなのはダム戦争の頃はお手の物だったよ。 絶対にレナをかばいきってみせる。あとケイちゃん、レナはケイちゃんのことは特に信頼してた。だからレナの方からケイちゃんのところに現れる可能性がある。その時にはすぐ保護してあげてほしい。その時は私にもすぐ連絡してね。
お、わかったぜ。
レナは強い子だからね。きっとこんな苦難も乗り越えてみせるよ。
そうだな。
I hesitate to say something. Rena hadn't been normal or her normal self lately. If she was normal or her normal self, I'd have no doubt that she could overcome this. But Rena is deeply convinced that Takano-san's delusions are true. Rena believes that the Sonozaki family is behind the conspiracy. I'm not sure if she trusts Sonozaki family to protect her.
大丈夫だよ。私とレナだって仲間同士なんだからさ。腹を割って話せばすぐに誤解だって分かってくれるよ。ケイちゃんだって私と話して誤解が解けたんでしょ。よくもまあ、あんなとんでも話を信じたもんだよ。
まあな。我ながらよくあんな話を鵜呑みにしたもんだぜ。前原圭一、多分一生の恥だぜ。やれやれ。
I really was deeply convinced until I talked to Mion. Even after the promise of friendship we made, I doubted her. Takano-san was endowed with magic, and I think the scrapbook she wrote also carried a spell. The scrapbook can make people go mad. They're forbidden scrapbooks, so nobody was supposed to read them. Ren is captivated by the power of that magic even after Takano-san's death. I have to wake her up. I got a very bad feeling about it.
ああ、ごめん、来客だわ。なんだか警察っぽいな。じゃあこれで電話を切るね。
お、わかった。
レナは今晩以降、ゴグラのあたりに潜伏してることになってる。警察に何か聞かれても、知りません、会ってませんで通すんだよ。
お、了解。
Mion waited for my answer, then hung up the phone. After she hung up, I slowly started to feel like Rena was being consumed by some huge, unthinkable fate. It's not only the police I'm worried about. I'm also worried about Rena because Rena is ensnared by the power of Takano-san's magic. I fear that she might be suffering from incredible anxiety. Yes. Alright. Rena might be hiding her at her secret base at the garbage dump. Rena once told me that she used to spend her time there when Rena-san was at her house. And she told me that she hid the scrapbooks there too. If she's hiding there, she must be hungry by now. I should bring her something to eat. I went to the kitchen to look for some junk food. My mother looked confused. Bring her some mochi.
母さんごめん。ちょっと出かけてくるよ。
こんな時間に？もう遅いからよしなさい。
It's very late though, yeah.
大切な用事なんだ。すぐ戻るよ。あとそれから、もし俺が留守の間にレナが来るようなことがあったら、黙って俺の部屋に通してほしい。それからレナの所在を尋ねる電話が来たら、知らないって言って切っちゃって。
My mom looked angry that I was leaving the house at so late an hour, but I rushed out of the house before she could say anything. I grabbed the flashlight from the wall of the garage, got on my bicycle, and sped off into the darkness. The moon looked beautiful, but in a creepy way. I feel like something terrible is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know it's coming for sure. Something is going to happen. The moon, seemingly knowing just what that something will be, looked like it was laughing at us, pacing back and forth in confusion. Damn it. Laugh all you want. Laugh at this funny story as much as you want. I'm not going to laugh. I'm going to fight. I'm going to smash through whatever fate is waiting for us. Rena, I hope you're there. Maybe my bicycle needs some oil? It was making a loud noise as I pedaled. Damn it, even my bicycle is laughing at us. My bicycle. Dude, that was very long. That was a very long chapter. But yeah, we're seeing really here that how Rena is getting paranoid in some of her actions, right? it's basically causing that that paranoia. It's quite funny though. Especially that the one with Kasai, yes. Kasai was just looking for her because she said that she had something for him, right? And now she thought that they're after them. Oh my god, the red. Look at the red though. I finished talking with Oishi on the phone and soon left the phone booth. By the end, this red is gonna be like bloody red. I realized something and a chill ran through my body. I was in the phone booth that stood out tremendously in the dark. Somebody must have seen me. I was certain I was being watched. I saw glowing eyes staring at me in the dark. It wasn't human. Was it an illusion? No. No, I knew who they were. They were the ones controlling the three families who ruled Hinamizawa. Its eye level was too low for it to be human, and its outline was vague. I knew from the past records that they were physically frail. The silhouette which indicated its inhuman appearance was unbelievably unrealistic. Especially its protruding head. One of the scrapbooks I received from Mio-san described their appearance in detail. Their eyeballs were pure red like blood and their bodies smelled like ammonia. Even though some of them have at times been captured around the world, all of them melted or disappeared, leaving no trace behind. The only traces remaining are the marks proving their descent to Earth. Right then, the impossible, unrealistic silhouette took a step closer and got closer and closer towards me, making a realistic noise as it crunched across the gravel. The noise pulled me back to reality. It kept walking towards me. It sounded like it was kicking pebbles everywhere as it walked. It was coming closer. I was scared, so I said the same thing once again. At this time, the glass door of the phone booth I was just in started to rattle and shake. Bang! It made a weird sound as if being struck by something. I screamed loudly in fear and started running. I ran so hard that it felt like my lungs were about to explode, and then I looked back to find that the thing was no longer chasing me. Was it my imagination? Most likely. There's no way it was just my imagination. I definitely heard the sound of the gravel being kicked and the phone booth rattling. But I needed to calm down. Right then, I needed to make my heart stop beating so fast. I'd have to fight them eventually. The next time they appeared, I was going to strike back at them. I was going to squash their heads with my big hatchet. I'd protect Hinamizawa. It was my duty to do so. I wouldn't allow them to do whatever they wanted. I saw the lights flicker in my head again. You know what's funny with here? With this chapter? Like, I kind of realized it when Rena was talking to Oishi there earlier. Like, this is pretty much like Keiichi's, yeah. I mean, they did say this is gonna be the answer arc for Onikakushi anyways. But it is very similar, right? But instead of Keiichi, it's Rena this time, right? She was the one who's being paranoid, a lot of anxiety and stuff, right? And yeah, similar to Keiichi, but I think for Rena, it's much more worse. Yes, it's much more worse. I think someone might die by the end, just like the one in chapter 1, right? But for her, it's much more worse, and the big difference, I suppose, is they're giving us answers, I suppose, right? With the parasites and stuff. Some of them I think is true, especially the parasite one, or I think that's the only one that is a true there. But the other ones, it's very hard to trust. I mean, trust theories. Theories of characters in the game is hard to trust. They could say this and that, right? Until we can't really say if it's true or not, unless the one saying it is, for example, the one doing all of this stuff, right? The one or the masterminds behind this. So it's not gonna be, I suppose, gonna be told in this chapter because we're still in chapter 6. They're not gonna reveal themselves, whoever the masterminds is, right? So whatever Rena is saying, don't really believe all of it, right? Yes, maybe some of it if you want, but not all of it. Yeah, not all. But the only thing that makes sense is, yeah, the parasite ones. Parasites, the maggots one. That was the only one. when you at first like I was like, oh yeah, the Sonozaki death squads. Like it was believable at first, right? Then we talked to Mion. Suddenly he's like, ah, okay, maybe not. But Mion did say that they did train in the US, right? But they did like some war games and stuff, and then they had a vacation and went to San Francisco, right? So it was quite funny though. It's very funny that Rena has her side, and then when you talk to the person, for example, like Mion, representative of the Sonozaki family, saying that, it's like, oh, okay. And this one as well with Kasai, right? Rena was the one who pretty much did that to herself. She was lying to Mion because she wanted to meet with Kasai, right? And talk to Kasai in dealing with Rena and Teppei. But that didn't happen. But yeah, I guess Mion still told Shion that Rena has an item of Kasai. So that pretty much backfired to Rena. And now she's being paranoid. She doesn't remember that. I suppose that she told Mion that. And she's being very, very paranoid that the Sonozaki family is after her now. And even the police, right? Kuma-chan and Oishi is like, oh, Kasai is a very big player. So if they're looking for someone, it means something big is happening, right? This is hilarious, honestly. For some reason, yeah. But it's nice. It's nice. So, yes, we're going to continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye-bye.